Hi everyone, I'm Ali. I've put together this little stretching circuit for all you runners out there. I know a lot of people are running or walking a lot more than they had been before the lockdown. So I put together this little stretching circuit that you can follow through. It takes about 20 minutes or so. There's a few variations on the exercises. If there's anything that you're unable to do, just be very cautious if you're attempting it, or just drop me a message in the comments below and I can try and give you an answer. All right, so we're going to start off coming down into a kneeling position, chest up, shoulders back. We're just going to start warming up the lower back. So we're going to come all the way up with the chest, shoulder blades pulling away from the spine, and then we're going to go the other way, pushing your belly button towards the ground. I'm lifting my head up, pulling my shoulders back, and lifting my tailbone up to the ceiling. Do the same thing again in reverse. Now we're tucking the pelvis up underneath us, shoulder blades moving away from the spine, tucking the chin in. And again, now we're going to go a little bit quicker. Up, good, and down. Good, two more, up and down. And last one, up and down. Perfect, well done. Okay, so now we're going to get into the hips. What I want you to do is to lift your knee forwards, out to the side and around in a big circle. We go 3, 2, 1. And with the other leg, 3, 2, 1. Switching over again. 4 this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. And the other leg. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Now we're going to go straight out behind, around to the side and back into the original position. Okay, same again. Let's go. 1, 2, 2 more. 3, 4. Other leg. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Excellent. We're going to come back. Child's pose. So feet together. Knees about fist width apart. And we're going to come down, tuck the chin in, sitting back onto your ankles. Good. What we're doing here is decompressing the spine, that arch in the lower back, or the round in the lower back. It's just taking all the pressure out of the spine. If you've been running, there's a lot of impact going through there. Good. A few deep breaths. In and out. Good. 2 more. In and out. Last one. In and out. Perfect. Okay. Come in. Sitting down. We want to place our hands behind us. Both knees up. Feet flat on the ground. Okay, I'm going to take my feet out wider than my hips, and I'm going to turn both my knees to the left. I'm trying to touch both knees on the ground, and then I'm going to come up and over to the other side, working through the internal and external rotation of the legs. Perfect. Good. Keep working. We're going to go 5 more on each side, and we'll speed it up a little bit. Good. 4 more on each side. Good, 3 more on each side. Perfect, 2 more on each side. Good, and last one on each side. Awesome, well done. Okay, so now we're going to come into what we call a 90-90 position. It's very similar to what we were just doing with the hips. And for the 90-90 position, I want to have 90 degrees between my 2 legs. And I want to have 90 degrees in both knees. Then I want to lean forwards towards my front leg. And I'm trying to keep my shoulders parallel to my front leg. So I'm leaning forwards, chest up, shoulder blades back, deep breath in and out. Good, so we should be feeling this one right through the glute on that front leg. If you are feeling a lot of tension in your knee, then you can just reduce the angle of that front leg So it's coming down to about 45 degrees. You should still then be able to feel it in your glute whilst leaning forwards. Good, a few deep breaths. Good, and again, I'm just going to return my leg back to the 90-90 position. And we can try and come forwards onto your forearms, onto your elbows. Good, deep breath again. 2 more. And 1 more. Awesome. All right, we're going to switch over to the other side. You can either roll through like I did or just find yourself in that position. Good, and then we're going to lean forwards, exactly the same thing. So you should feel straight away how much tighter this hip is after we've just stretched off that other one. Good, so I've got my right knee in front and I'm coming down. Deep breath in and out. Perfect. There's not many static stretches. This is one of the few that we're going to do. And the reason why we're doing this one in a static stretch is just because of the size and the power of the glute. We need to really be able to let it relax as we're moving into that stretch. Good, 2 more deep breaths in and out. Good, and again, in, dropping down to the elbows if you can, and out. Perfect. Okay, coming up. Now we're going to get into our sciatic line. So if you're unfortunate enough to have had sciatica, then you'll know what I'm talking about here. You've got a nerve that runs from your back, goes through your glute, down your hip and all the way down your leg. And we're looking at just relaxing all of the muscles which follow that line. So we're going to lay down on our back, straighten out your left leg, and then we're going to bring the right leg up straight, okay? What I'm going to try and do from here is straighten that knee to the maximum, and whilst I'm doing that I'm pulling my toe backwards so my foot's flat. Then I'm going to point my toe and I'm going to let the tension off, and then I'm going to curl my toe back, come back to stretch, okay? So we want to keep the leg locked in with our hands. We're keeping that knee vertical or as close to it as you can. Straighten the leg, point the toe, come down, pull the toe back, straighten. Good, we're going to go 3 more. Point the toe, down, pull the toe back, straighten. Perfect, and again. Good, and we'll do 2 more. Come down, pull the toe back, up, down, and last one, right? Toe back, all the way straight. Good, and down, excellent. We're going to switch over, pull the left leg up now, and we're going to do exactly the same thing. So straightening that leg, toe back, point the toes, come down, curl the toe back, up, good, point the toe, down. Perfect, we'll go 4 more from here. Make sure that knee's really locked out, good, and down. And again, point the toe, and down, good. Excellent. And 2 more. I think it's 2 more anyway. Good, and last one. Toe back and up. Excellent. All right, good. So we want to come now into the lunge position. So just partially stretched off the hamstring and just improve the function of all of that area. So what I want to do here is come down into a long lunge position. We'll start getting into the hip flexor now and we'll revisit it in a little while. I want to push that hip forwards and drive in my knee forwards as well, chest up, shoulders back. I'm taking my hands up above my head and I'm just going to very gently lean backwards as I push the hip forwards. So we don't want any crazy back movement or anything, just push the hip forwards into it so we can feel that stretch through that left side. Good. Now, I'm coming down into the lunge position. I'm going to push my right knee as far forwards as I can, with both hands down on the inside of that foot. Okay? Now my right shoulder is glued into my right knee, and from here I can start twisting my hips from left to right. Okay, as I'm rotating, I'm opening up the hip on both sides, and I'm keeping that hip forwards as well. So I'm keeping that stretch on, really opening up those hip joints. Good, we'll go 3 more. 3, 2, and 1 more. Good, excellent. Okay, we're gonna come back, switch legs. So now my left leg is up in front. I'm lifting my sternum, pushing my hip forwards. The front knee is progressing over the toe. And as I'm doing so, I'm gonna bring my hands up and get that hip flexor stretch. Good, from here, deep breath. Good, and we'll come off the stretch. I'm going to come down into that lunge position. Okay, chest up, shoulders back. Now my left shoulder is glued to my right knee. And again, I'm going to start pivoting my hips, swivel the hips. Good, you should feel that really opening up. Obviously a different sensation in each hip because of the position that they're in, but opening up both legs simultaneously. Good, that knee coming out to the side and then in. And the hip going out to the side and then coming in. Good, we'll go 2 more on each side. And last one. Good, excellent. Okay, so coming back to our seated position. All right, now we're going to take our right foot, lay it down flat and tuck that right foot right up under your bum, okay? Then I'm going to take my left foot and I'm placing it over on the outside of my right knee. So it should be touching your thigh. Okay, I'm going to tuck that one right in. This position is called the pretzel position, and you might already feel a stretch coming through your glute on that left leg. What we're going to do is take our right arm, wrap it as low around the left leg as we can. And if anything, I want to try and get my elbow to touch that bottom knee. So that is my right knee. It's quite hard to tell, but I've got my right elbow on my right knee. I'm wrapping my arm around my left leg, and then I'm going to bring my sternum up nice and tall. Okay. Deep breaths from here as we start to lean over to the side, and you feel that coming right through the glute on the left side. Good. Okay, let's take a few deep breaths. Good, and again. And you should feel you can kind of drop into this stretch lower and lower with each deep breath. As that big, strong glute muscle starts to relax, you can drop in. Good. Okay, we're going to switch our legs around. So we're going to come back to the central position. Now taking my left foot, tucking it in right next to my right glute. Bring my right foot over the top. Foot pointing forwards into that pretzel on the other side. Now I'm taking my left arm, leaning over, wrapping it around my right knee, then wrapping my right arm around as well. I'm hugging it in, but lifting my sternum up, so my spine elongates, and that's going to pull that stretch from the bottom. Good. And then we can start leaning over to that left side. Deep breaths. Good, a few more. Really feeling that relaxing and the stretch deepening. One more deep breath. Good. Okay. Again, we're going to come back to neutral and we're going to go into the half lotus position. So I'm going to lay my right foot flat as if I was just going to cross my legs, and then I'm going to bring my left foot and just place it straight on top of my right leg. You might need to lean right over to the right side in order to get that left foot on, and then we're going to come back to the central position. So I can't even get into the full lotus position, which is why I do the half lotus position. But another benefit of the half lotus is if I lean now over to my left side, my left foot is pinning my right leg to the ground, and it means I can stretch right the way through that right hip. Okay, so we'll just lean over for a second, take a deep breath, and out. Good. We're going to come back to the center, chest up nice and tall, back straight, and we're going to lean forwards. Deep breath in and out. Good. Okay, we'll switch our legs over. Left leg on the bottom now. Right foot up on top of the thigh. Half lotus on the other side. Now leaning over to the right side, opening up that hip. Good. Deep breath. Perfect. Okay, and then leaning forwards, same thing. Good, and one more breath. Excellent. Okay. Both legs out in front. Very quickly, we're going to lean forwards into a double hamstring stretch just to ease everything off and let it go back to normal. Another deep breath. In and out. Good, okay. Coming up into our lunge position. All right. Chest up, shoulders back. Now what I want to do is get deeper into that hip flexor stretch. So I'm going to come right the way down into my long lunge position. Staying tall with the chest, really driving that hip forwards on your right side. Okay? Good. Now from here, we're going to bring your right hand down to the ground, and we're going to drive that hip flexor as close to the ground as you can, lifting your chest up and using your right glute to push that hip flexor forward. You may even feel this slightly in your lower back, they're very closely related. Excellent. Okay, now if you're unable to grab your foot, don't worry about the stretch, just stay in the position you're in. If you are able to grab your foot, I want you to bring your right foot up, grab it with your left hand, and then I'm going to come into this adaptive version of the hip flexor stretch where now I can control the stretch on my quad as well as pushing my hip flexor forwards into that stretch. So chest up, shoulders back, driving that hip flexor forwards and then pulling onto that leg to engage the quad stretch. Okay, deep breath from there. This one always makes me sweaty. Good, keep going. And one more deep breath. Okay, we can open and close the hip from here, bringing that foot down to the ground whilst we're keeping that stretch on. I'm just going to open up the front of that hip massively. Okay, good. We're going to switch sides. So left foot back, right foot forwards, chest up, shoulders back, driving into that hip flexor stretch, pushing that hip flexor forwards whilst we're staying tall. Good, and then we're going to come down now, left hand on the ground. All right, I'm driving my hip into the ground, facing the wrong way now. Good, pushing that hip forward with the glute. Perfect, chest tall, deep breath. Good, we're going to bend that left foot now, grabbing it with your right hand, driving that hip forwards, chest up. Quad stretch as well. Again, if you're not able to do this one, that's fine. Just stay in the position you're in, working that hip flexor. Good, deep breath from here. And one more. Excellent, and then we're going to open up that hip. Coming down, you can try and touch that foot on the ground. Come all the way back, open it up. Perfect. Good. Okay, from here we're going to go back into child's pose now. So knees quite close together, feet touching, sitting back, hands out in front, or you can bring them into this position here or behind you. Either way, we're elongating the spine, rounding that bottom part of the spine and decompressing the spine. Good, deep breath in, then out. Perfect. Okay, excellent. We're going to come up. We're going to go back into that lunge position, but slightly shorter than we were last time. Okay, and from here we're going to go forward into that lunge, and then we're going to come backwards, push the hip back, dropping into a hamstring stretch. So in this position, you may want to grab your foam roller. You can hold it out to the side and just use it to support you as you come in to your stretches forwards and backwards if you're not able to touch the floor. If you are able to touch the floor, that's fine, touch the floor. You don't have to use a foam roller, you can use a yoga block or anything else that you've got to hand. Alright, so we're going to keep going, back into that stretch, toe up to the ceiling, try and keep your chest tall, good. And we're stretching in the front and then stretching in the lunge, in the hamstring. Stretching the lunge and then stretching the hamstring. One of these days I'll learn the routine for my own class. Good, we can turn that foot in and out. Again, opening up the hip, but also stretching through the glute and the lower back. Good, one more time, forwards and backwards. Good, pulling that foot right back, you're going to pull that stretch all the way through the calf as well as the hamstring. Excellent, and we're going to switch over, come into our lunge with our right foot now. Coming forwards into the lunge position, backwards into that hamstring stretch, toe up to the ceiling. Same again, forwards and backwards. Deep breaths all the way through. Good, turn the foot in and out. And back forwards and backwards, toe up to the ceiling. Last one. Good, okay. We're going to bring that foot back, hands down onto the ground, and we're going to come up into a downward dog. So if you've never done a downward dog before, we're just going to be on our hands and our feet. We're trying to lift our hip as high as possible. We're not worried about getting a big arch in the back or anything, trying to keep it in a straight line from the palms up to the hip. But most importantly, we don't want to have a round in the lower back. We want to lift our tailbone up high, okay? Try and push your heels down into the ground, and we're going to get that stretch right the way through the calves. From here, you should feel that calf stretch on, and what I'm going to do is bend my knees forwards, and then I'm going to push my knees back, drive into that calf stretch. Same again, bend forwards, drive back into the calf stretch. Pushing those knees as far back as you can. Same again, down, up into that calf stretch. Good, two more. And last one. Perfect. Okay, we're going to come into a press up position. We're going to bring your feet so they're touching each other. Then we're going to come back into a single leg downward dog. I'm not worried if your foot's right up here or tucked in or whatever's comfortable for you. What's important is that we're driving into that one leg, keeping that hip angled high. I'm going to come back to the press up position, switch feet, come back, don't kick the TV. Good, press up position, switching. Press up position, switching. Good. Press up position, switching. Good. Two more. That's it, and last one. Good. Coming back down. Awesome. Okay, good work guys. So to finish off, we're just going to come into a yoga squat. So feet out wide, chest up tall. Pushing the knees out with your elbows. Really important that we've got the heels flat on the floor in this one. So you have to take your feet out a little bit wider, that's fine. And we really drive those hips out. And we're just going to shift from left to right. As we do so, putting some pressure over the toes of that foot, just so we're really stretching out the Achilles and the calf. Good, we're going to come back over to the other side, put pressure on to the ball of the foot, stretching out the Achilles. Good, shifting left and right. We can turn the hips, turn the knees in and out. Perfect, and coming up. Excellent. All right, there we go, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got any questions, let me know. And of course, subscribe, like, comment, all of that kind of stuff. And head over to fitnessformula.uk for all my other videos and other live classes and all the other information about Fitness Formula. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.